Hi, it's Penny here, and today I'm going to be putting together my TBR for the month of July. Now, you might notice behind me is just boxes, and usually I would have my bookshelves over here. They're gone too. So in July, in fact, the last day of June, we're starting our move to our new city, which is like 6 hours drive away. And in July, we are going to be moving in and then also probably driving back and forth a few times, sorting out, getting all our furniture sorted out and all our stuff, and then getting this house sold. So like July is going to be a month, possibly August as well. And also actually June was a month, and I am behind on my June reading. So when it comes to planning my July reading, I should be trying to keep things fairly easy. However, when I started writing out my plans for my reading for the month, there are still quite a few books. So I'm going to go through my TBR, but it's all with the understanding that we don't know what's happening in July. Maybe I won't even read anything. It's always a possibility. So as usual, I'm going to use my TBR machine website that I made that spits out random reading prompts to pick a couple of books on this TBR, but I also already have a bunch of slots already filled. So as well, recently I've been doing a thing where I try to make a realistic reading plan. Is it working out? Not really. But basically I pick a physical book and an audiobook for each week of the month. So in July we've got our 4 weeks, and in the very first week I actually need to read The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton because I have this from my current library. Obviously we're moving, so I need to return this, but I'm thinking maybe I can do it on one of our trips back up to get stuff. As well, I have just had the ebook of this come through too. I'm a little bit scared of returning this early because I think then if I don't get to the ebook in time, it will just return itself. Whereas at least with this, like my current library doesn't have fines, so if I return it late, doesn't matter. Maybe to the people on the hold queue, so I will try not to let that happen. But anyway, I'm going to read this in the first week, or as close as that as I possibly can. This is about like an apocalyptic world. The world was destroyed by fog. The remaining people live on this island. Unfortunately, one of the scientists on this island, there's like 3 scientists that lead the island, I think, and one of these scientists turns up dead, and the security system on this island wipes everyone's memory, and now they have to solve the murder within a limited time frame, or otherwise the security system's going to open it up to the fog and they're all going to die. So also though, it means that one of these people on the island who's trying to solve the murder is actually the murderer, but they just don't remember it. So it's an interesting premise. To be honest, I was surprised when this arrived from the library because it's not as thick as I was afraid it would be, so that does make reading this a little bit more achievable. Fingers crossed. So I'm going to have that in the first week, and then I think I'll leave the audiobook slot along with that open at the moment. In the second week, I'm going to try and focus on catching up on series, although actually I'm going to start a new series because that's where I'm at now with my whole Series 0 thing, is that I am able to start some new series. And I've also been trying to get to a lot of my 5-star predictions. So the series that I'm going to start in July is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. So this is a very hyped series, and I'm also excited because Tamsin Muir is a New Zealand author. And I have actually read the first few chapters of this before, but it was back when I wasn't supposed to be starting new series, and I only started it because I was in a situation where I could only read ebooks, and that was one of the few ebooks I had access to. So we're following this woman named Gideon. She's been raised on this planet. It's written in a way where a lot of things are kind of ambiguous, but it seems like she's been raised on this planet, which is all based around necromancy, and it kind of feels quite gothic. There's some very strange things going on. Gideon has always wanted to escape, but then kind of the princess, let's call her, of this world makes a deal with Gideon that they will go to this other place, and Gideon will support her in her attempt to achieve something. And if she does that, then Gideon will gain her freedom. I really loved the writing tone, and I've heard such crazy things about the series as a whole, so I'm very excited to get into that. Also that week, I'll continue the Innkeeper Chronicles by Ilona Andrews. Ilona Andrews is one of my favorite authors, and the Innkeeper Chronicles follows this girl named Dina, who runs this in these inns in this world, though. It's kind of like a sci-fi fantasy, so all out in space are all these paranormal type creatures, and the inns are where they come and stay when they're on Earth, and the innkeepers are responsible for keeping these aliens safe from the humans, but also keeping the humans safe from the aliens that the humans don't know anything about. And there's like an additional mystery about what has happened to Dina's parents that we're learning about. I'm hoping to have read the second book in the series before we get into July. Is that going to happen given that I'm only filming this a few days in advance? Possibly not, but if not, I guess I'll read the second one. We'll see. These are just super fun. Honestly, they have a lot of humor and action and romance, which I talk about all the time as being things I don't really like, but the way that Alona Andrews does them, I really love. So I'm hoping to continue loving this series. I love the first book. Then in the third week, I'm going to pick up the next book, the fifth book. Actually, I think it's the sixth book in the Murderbot series, even though I've only read the first four. Everything I've read suggests that you should read the sixth book before you read the fifth book, and that's the advice I've had. So I'm going to be picking up Fugitive Telemetry by Martha Wells, the sixth book, as I said, in the Murderbot series. So Murderbot is this security robot who has hacked their governor module so that they can just watch TV all the time, and that's all they really want to do. And we go along with a lot of really relatable adventures as Murderbot is forced to protect the humans while also kind of trying to uncover a mystery about their past and just trying to watch TV, you know? I really love these books. Again, the writing tone is so great. There is a lot of action, but it's always got that overtone of Murderbot's narration and their sarcastic comments that make it still enjoyable. And I've heard Fugitive Telemetry as well as somewhat standalone compared to the rest of the books in this series, as long as you have the basic setup of who Murderbot is. So I'm excited to read that. Also, because that's quite short, I know I normally try to say one book a week, and that's the whole idea, is to make it realistic, but whatever. I do have one book left on my physical TBR. It's already in a box, so I can't pull it out. But that is The Black God's Drums by P. Jelly Clark. I don't know anything about this because the book with the synopsis is in a box and I haven't looked it up. I mainly only picked it up because I saw it was free in my library's free bin. So I'm going to read it and hopefully I'm going to love it. It's also super short. But actually, when I do my TBR machine prompts, I'm going to spin 3 prompts and we're going to try and make one of them match that, because that's how the TBR machine used to work, is supposed to work. I spin a prompt, I pick books off my TBR, but now that I don't really have a TBR, we're being a little bit more creative with things. So in that third week, we'll fill the audiobook slot with a TBR machine prompt. And then at the end of July, which is actually hopefully slightly more than an actual week, and I think I'll give myself the first week or the first few days of August also to catch up on everything that I'm sure I'll be behind on. So the books I'm going to put in this last week are really long, so I probably will need that time anyway. Firstly, I'm going to read Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson, the third book in the Stormlight Archives that I am rereading as part of my Cosmere reread. But also the fourth book in the Stormlight Archives I haven't read yet, so I'm looking forward to rereading Oathbringer to set myself up for that. This is a really big epic fantasy that's so popular. You probably know what it's about if you watch my channel, and also it's really hard to describe, so I'm not even going to try, but I'm super excited to be continuing my reread because the first 2 books were so rereadable, and I'm expecting that I will pick up on a lot of things in Oathbringer that I didn't pick up on the first time. I'm hoping, because I know that the reason why I did my whole 2-year Cosmere reread was because I felt like I wasn't prepared to go into Rhythm of War. So hopefully by the end of Oathbringer I'll be feeling a lot more prepared. Then the audiobook I'm going to pick up for that week is also a long one, and that is The First Binding by R.R. Verdi. So this is a series that I tried the first chapter of as part of the whole project I'm doing where I'm trying the first chapter of every series that I'm interested in reading. And this is the one that is the highest priority in terms of ones that I would like to read via audiobook. And all I know about it so far is what I got from that first chapter, in that there is some weird binding magic and that we're mainly following this storyteller who seems to have a lot of strange rumors about all these epic things that he's done. It's being compared to The Name of the Wind, and I'm really hoping this won't turn into a long unfinished series like that series did. I'm very hopeful that it won't be. I think we're going to be okay. The second book is actually coming out in August, so I thought I'd read this now so that I could read the second book just as it comes out. That's my plan. Okay, so that means we have the 2 slots to fill with the TBR machine, but we're going to spin 3 prompts, try and assign one to the Black God's Drums, even though I hardly know anything about that book. Is that a good plan? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we'll just spin all 3 prompts and then we'll try and work out what we're doing. So the first prompt is read a thriller. I haven't been reading many thrillers lately, so I'm not sure how I feel about that, and I don't think we can fit the Black God's Drums under that. So the second prompt is going to be read a book that has been adapted into a movie or a TV show. Okay, so that also doesn't fit for the Black God's Drums. Let's really cross our fingers for this next prompt. Oh, I got read an author from a different country than you. So, luckily, living in New Zealand, this is always an easy prompt for me, and P. Jelly Clark lives in a different country from me. I think he's American. That could be wrong, but I think so. Okay, so that means I gotta fill the other 2 prompts with library audiobooks. So I have got to do some research while you wait, but it'll be 1 second of waiting for you. Okay, so I have filled the prompts, but have I cheated a little bit? Maybe. Firstly, I haven't cheated with the first one. So I'm going to read I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. So I watched the Netflix adaptation of this. It was really weird, and I would like to see how different the book is. I know it's also weird. And maybe knowing what I think is the twist in the movie and the book will affect my enjoyment of the book, but maybe in the positive? I don't know. What is it about? You know, it's kind of about this couple and their memories of their life. It's not really, but that's the best description I can probably give without giving any spoilers, which is weird when I haven't read the book yet. So then the other book I'm going to read for a thriller is going to be Severance by Ling Ma. Look, it's not really a thriller. This is a book about a world where there's a pandemic and this woman just keeps going to work even though things are already getting quite out of hand, and she just keeps going to work. I've heard lots of really great things about it. It's probably more of a dystopian from everything I've read, but we're going to treat it as a thriller, even though I couldn't find anyone anywhere saying it was a thriller because it's not a thriller. I was kind of hoping that somebody somewhere would have said it's a thriller. But of all the books that my library has available on ebook, because my plan once we move is to join the new library as soon as possible, but I haven't joined it yet, and I can't be sure exactly how long it will take me to join it, and also that library isn't quite as good, so it doesn't have as many books yet, and I'm not prepared to commit to reading a book from that library yet, so I'm reading a book I can get as ebook from my current library, which I can continue to use once we've moved. Anyway, the summary is it doesn't really fit the prompt, but a prompt is just a start, right? You don't have to completely conform to it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to read Severance by Ling Ma. So that means this will be my reading plans for the month of July. Is it realistic? Honestly, probably not. Because I just am excited to be moving into the new house and doing all the new house things, so who knows. It is true that when we first move in, we're still not going to have a lot of our stuff, so maybe I will have more reading time because of that. But also, we have a lot to do in terms of getting all our stuff sorted out and buying new things, so maybe I won't have any reading time because of that. We will see. Let me know what you're excited about reading in July and what you're up to. And do subscribe if you'd like to see more of my bookish videos. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.